You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 20th day of June, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. Hope you had a nice holiday, a happy Juneteenth. Someone in my group yesterday asked a pertinent question. If we were to have a barbecue or other festivities, would that be considered cultural misappropriation? And honestly, I don't know the answer to that. So, some of you smart minds in the audience, feel free to answer that question for me in the question box. Okay. And speaking of Thursday, which is today, tonight is our members only workshop. Obviously, since it's called the members only workshop, guess what? You got to be a member to get into that workshop at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you've been on the trial, you should have gotten an email yesterday or today, maybe both, that explains to you exactly how you can become a member and avail yourself to everything that Passport offers, including access to tonight's members only workshop. Plus, when you become a member, you get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram, which means you'll not only be able to get into tonight's members only workshop, but we have a Telegram channel, a private one, where there's years of workshops. So that's just one more benefit. But anyway, I'm glad you're here today. Thanks for joining. This is our second live broadcast of the day. We do two every trading day. The first broadcast, that's our live training room. Now, that's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1 week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1 week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page it says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click that link, fill out that registration form. You need to dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure you provide the information necessary. Hit submit, and in most cases, same day, we'll get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and so if you do that today, then your trial will actually begin tomorrow, Friday. That will be day one. Now, you don't ever have to worry about what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day you sign up for the trial. You will always get 5 consecutive trading days. So, if you sign up for the trial today, get you all set up, tomorrow will be the first day of your trial. The weekend doesn't count against you because we're not broadcasting live, but there are markets that do trade over the weekend. And then you'll get 4 days next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So no matter when you sign up, you're going to get 5 trading days. The weekends don't count against you. Holidays don't count against you. So just make sure when you fill out that registration form that you get it right, because it's an automated process. And if you don't do it right, and trust me, it's not rocket science. It's kind of like, what's your name, what's your email address, that kind of thing. But if you don't fill it out properly, then we don't get it, and then you don't get a free trial, and then we all have frowny faces. So we don't want that. Turn that frown upside down, fill it out right. When the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break, and then we come back for this broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's a couple different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. Here's the best way. You only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link. Fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. What'll happen going forward, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, the benefit there is you have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there's going to be days when you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy and can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do both via our YouTube channel. Now, it's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. You already have the YouTube part memorized, so really all you got to remember is the /CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. Now, not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, we're simulcasting in both places. We also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CFRN. And you know, if you're new to the world of CFRN, it is a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Just pick some days at random. Watch a little bit, fast forward a little bit, watch a little bit, jump to another day, do the same thing. You'll see how we've evolved over the years right up to today. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, but just, again, pick some days at random. youtube.com/CFRN. Okay, we're going to start with our daily devotional and our daily prayer, as we do each and every day. And I got some news articles for you. Then we'll get into a recap of the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts. Then about 12:45, 12:50, Michael will join us and give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern, top of the hour, we'll go live on the TradingView platform, do some live trading for 30 minutes. And then I'll wrap everything up with our good word for the day. So let's get after it. Now, this is the final day of this devotion entitled The Air I Breathe. We'll start a new one tomorrow. I've really enjoyed this one. And if you enjoy it today, you can always go back on our YouTube channel and catch the other 4 days. All right, Psalm 19, verses 1 through 14. And I'm going to share with you from the Message translation. God's glory is on tour in the skies. Godcraft on exhibit across the horizon. Madame Day holds classes every morning. Professor Knight lectures each evening. Their voices aren't heard. Their voices aren't recorded. But their silence fills the earth. Unspoken truth is spoken everywhere. God makes a huge dome for the sun, a superdome. The morning sun's a new husband, leaping from his honeymoon bed. The daybreaking sun, an athlete racing to the tape. That's how God's word vaults across the skies, from sunrise to sunset. Melting ice, scorching deserts, warming hearts to faith. The revelation of God is whole and pulls our lives together. The signposts of God are clear and point out the right road. The life maps of God are right, showing the way to joy. Directions of God are plain and easy on the eyes. God's reputation is 24-karat gold with a lifetime guarantee. The decisions of God are accurate down to the nth degree. God's word is better than a diamond set between emeralds. You'll like it better than strawberries in spring, better than red, ripe strawberries. There's more. God warns us of danger and directs us to hidden treasure. Otherwise, how will we find our way? Or know when we can play the fool? Clean the slate so we can start the day fresh. Keep me from stupid sins, from thinking I can take over your work. Then I can start this day sun-washed, scrubbed clean of the grime of sin. These are the words in my mouth. These are what I chew on and pray. Accept them when I place them on the morning altar. O God, my altar rock, God, priest of my altar. That again was Psalm 19, verses 1 through 14, from the Message translation. So let's talk for just a minute about the greatest treasure. Worship doesn't begin with us. Worship begins and ends with God. And God is worthy of all praise from all people for all time. God is the center of everything that exists. Above all the little gods of earth, He alone is the creator, sustainer, originator, life giver, beauty maker. That's why every glimpse into God's presence throughout the pages of His Word affirms that God dwells in endless praise. Notice the angel host of Revelation, never ceasing to say, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God, the Almighty, who was and is to come." That's Revelation 4:8. Day and night they proclaim Him as central in all creation. Without pause, they are constantly affirming His infinite worth. The same is true of the skies surrounding us. As the psalmist writes, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands." That's Psalm 19:1. Why? Because that's what the starry host were created to do. Day after day, they echo back to God and shout at the top of their lungs to anyone else who's paying attention that he is huge, all-powerful, glorious, limitless. They are affirming that the one who imagined their shapes and sizes is beyond our wildest imagination. You know what's really wild? This massive God, who has never known any shortage of worship, wants to be worshiped by you right now. It's not that he needs any more worship to be worthy. No, God can't be more worthy than he already is and always has been. And it's not that God needs our worship, but that he wants it. He wants it because he deserves it. And he commands it because to do so is the most loving thing he can possibly do. God knows who he is. He knows what he's worth. And he knows the best thing he can give us is himself. So in calling us to prize him above all else, God is both gaining the praise that is rightfully his alone and causing us to gain the greatest treasure we will ever know. God is not an egotist seeking more than he deserves from us. Rather, he is God, choosing in worship to reward us with himself. And we close out this devotional, 5 days now, with a question. How does God's call to worship him reflect his love for us? Now, when I go to church, it's time for worship. Now, I remember when I first started going back to church at the age of 37, I was raised in church, but it was a very stiff-necked type of religious legality. You stood up straight, you sang from page 232 of the hymn book, etc. But it was when I started going back to church at the age of 37 that I realized there was this crazy thing called contemporary Christian worship music. You never heard that in the church I grew up in. It hadn't been invented yet. And in the beginning, people were lifting their hands and dancing around, and I was standing there very stiff, watching them. And I started to pray, and this went on for a period of time. Hey, God, I want what they got. These people are filled with something, and they look mighty happy, and they're all seem to be doing good. So, whatever they want, I got it. And then one day, it was like somebody plugged an electrical cord into an electrical socket, and I felt it. And whereas before I was too ashamed or embarrassed to lift my hands in worship, and once that plug was plugged in, my hands shot up. I didn't tell them to. They just did. And now, many years later, it's all I can do to keep them down. I clap, dance a little bit, if you can call that dancing. But yeah, worship's such a powerful thing. And we've talked about this throughout this 5-day devotional, that many people get turned off by God because, that guy's got an ego, if there is one. If there is a God, he wants us to worship him. It's for your benefit. Man, I can go to church on any given day, weighed down by the weight of the world. Now, when I leave church, I still have the same problems I walked in with. But I walk out on air. I could barely drag myself in, but after worshiping and then hearing the preaching of the word, that worship gets us ready to hear the preaching of the word. When it's time to leave, I don't want to go, but it's over. You got to go home now, okay? But I do my best to take that with me. and hang on to it throughout the week till the next service rolls around. So I hope you will learn to worship, to enjoy worship. You will lead a much richer life. And I'm not talking about money. I mean, maybe God will fill your pockets up. I don't know. But in your spirit, you'll feel so much better. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you in all of your creation, as Psalm 19 declares. Lord, let the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be pleasing in your sight. Cleanse us from hidden faults and keep us from willful sins. May we seek your guidance and find joy in your commands. You are our rock and our redeemer. We praise you for your endless wisdom and grace. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen and happy Thursday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Now, the United States was the only place that was celebrating that holiday yesterday. As far as I know, I don't think other countries celebrate that. So markets were trading. We just weren't here. We just weren't broadcasting live. But here's where we find ourselves on this Thursday afternoon. Currently, the Dow is up 145 points. The NASDAQ is down 44. S&P is at the flat line. The Russell 2000 down a point. And the commodity basket, crude oil is up 30 cents, trading 81.87 last. Gold up $22.50, trading 23.69 last. That's a gain of almost 1%. Silver up $1.12, trading 30.69 last. It's a gain of almost 4%. Over $5,000 per contract traded. When the price of crude oil moves $1, that's worth $1,000 per contract. When gold moves $1, that's worth $100 per contract traded. When silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 62 points. Shanghai dropped 12. The Hang Seng fell 95. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 67, almost 1%. The DAX up 186 points, just over 1%. And the CAC up 101 points, over 1.25%. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a green day in the UK. And at the moment, it is a mixed Radio Thursday here in the US of A. We have one of the major indices in the green. That's the Dow, 125 points. But the other three, the NQ, the ES, the Russell, they're in the red. Not by a lot. Definitely in the red. At least for now. We'll see what it looks like at the end of the broadcast, and even more important, how we close today. Because some interesting things are happening on the daily chart, and when we get there, I will point those out to you. So let's get through these news articles as quick as we can, because there's a few. All right. Federal Reserve has projected just one interest rate cut this year. The latest round of monthly data has some economists worried it won't come soon enough. Retail sales data for May revealed that the pace of consumer spending is cooling down from last year. Just because everybody's credit card is now maxed out. easing concerns about an economy running too hot in the fight against inflation. In the labor market, while last month's job additions came in higher than expected, the unemployment rate hit 4%, its highest level since January of 2022. Overall, Citibank's Economic Surprise Index, which measures the extent to which data has come in better than forecast, is hovering near its lowest level in more than a year. Come on, Jerome. Now, new home construction in the U.S. slumped in May to the slowest pace in 4 years, as higher for longer interest rates sapped the housing industry's momentum from earlier this year. Housing starts decreased 5.5% to a 1.28 million annualized rate last month, according to government data released today. The figure was below all but one estimate in a Bloomberg survey of economists. Building permits, which point to future construction, fell 3.8% to a 1.39 million annual rate, also the weakest since June of 2020. The declines in starts and permits were broad across multifamily and single-family units. Authorized permits for single-family homes dropped for a 4th straight month to the slowest pace in a year. Now, I know people were wondering, how is it that house prices keep going up with these crazy interest rates? Well, there are people out there with a whole bunch of money that either A, they can just pay cash for their house, or the interest rate doesn't faze them because they got a bunch of money. But guess what? In a slow economy like we have with high inflation, those people with lots of money, they're paying more for groceries, they're paying more for their cars, they're paying more for everything. So guess what? We may have gotten to the bottom of that well. And this is where I fear recession, potentially depression, can start to sink in unless somebody somewhere does something real quick. All right. Fewer Americans enrolled for the first time unemployment benefits last week, the Labor Department said today. Though the latest data showed the number of people on benefits overall was the highest since January, a sign that the U.S. job market continues to cool. Meanwhile, separate data from the Census Bureau showed a housing market that continues to struggle under the weight of the high interest rates engineered by our friend, the Federal Reserve. Groundbreaking for new homes and permit applications for future residential building projects both fell in May to the lowest level in about 4 years. MicroStrategy bought approximately $786 million in Bitcoin, proceeds raised from the sale of convertible notes. The company acquired 11,931 Bitcoin between April 27th and June 19th, according to a filing Thursday today with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. This is MicroStrategy's third largest acquisition of Bitcoin, following its $821 million purchase of 12,000 tokens on March 11th. The company has repeatedly tapped the debt market to snap up more of the cryptocurrency this year, spending over $2.4 billion on Bitcoin in 2024 alone. Purchase today, or over the last few days, raised MicroStrategy's overall holdings 226,331 BTC, which are valued at about $14.9 billion. Now, MicroStrategy has only spent $8.3 billion on their holdings, giving the company an 80% paper gain on its investments. The sinking of a coal carrier by a sea drone has boosted the risk of navigating the vital Bab el-Mandeb choke point to a new level and is driving a fresh surge in insurance costs. British Navy said Tuesday that the only visible objects in the last known location of the Tudor dry bulk carrier, at which point it was semi-submerged, were some debris and an oil slick. Yemen's Houthi militants managed to strike it with a seaborne drone, killing one crew member and injuring others. They said they eventually sank it with explosives. The sinking is a stark reminder of a growing threat the militants pose to vessels in the region. U.S. and U.K. bombing of the Houthis, which began in January, failed to quell the attacks and instead led to vessels associated with the two nations becoming targets for the group. Alongside freighters with connections to Israel, the Houthis supporting Gazans have warned of expanded operation to potentially attack as far as the Mediterranean. It's another indicator the Houthis are stepping up their attacks on those vessels that were warned not to pass through the Red Sea. Man, not good. We also have underwater drones. In fact, I posted in the Breeze channel this morning a picture or a video. It's kind of like a submarine, but it's a drone. And it cruises along underwater, and all of a sudden it pops up, does its deal, and then I guess it deep dives again. Britain should, now the U.S. is urging Britain to pick a date for a stock market shakeup. Britain should set a date for having the time it takes to settle a stock trade and stick with it. That's from SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Britain has said that UK stock markets should have the time it takes to settle a trade on the London Stock Exchange and other platforms by the end of 2027 at the latest, to match Wall Street's move last month to complete a stock trade within one business day. Canada and Mexico also shifted to T+1 last month to cut risk in markets and save on trading costs. So now America's telling Britain how to run their markets. I don't know, and it's probably a good idea. I'll let them figure it out. Okay, Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. We're currently in week 307. Over the last 307 weeks, we've issued over 16,900 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure. A very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one entering sessions. This recap was done this morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. Valerie's on vacation this week, so there'll only be, as I've told you, just one recap a day. Normally she does like 3 a day, morning, afternoon, evening. But since she's on vacation, I just asked her, could you just please do one a day? And she said, sure, no problem. So this is how it stood as of 8 a.m. this morning. Since the markets opened Sunday night, we've issued a total of 38 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 8. That gave us 30 actionable alerts, of which 5 or 17% would have been stopped out based on market structure. And that simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, the purpose of the logic alerts is to help you to learn how to read the chart. If you hope to someday trade for a living, you got to learn how to read first, okay? If as a kid you wanted to grow up to be a fireman, a doctor, a lawyer, a scientist, an astronaut, you had to learn how to read, right? It's the same with trading, except you got to learn how to read the charts. You got to understand what the chart is telling you. You cannot depend on somebody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out if you hope to trade for a living. So with the logic alerts, you get an entry price, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. I get all that information by looking left, okay? And I teach you how to do the same thing. That's your first step at learning how to read the charts. Now, 307 weeks is a very long time, but way before that, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Okay? Now, the concierge trade alerts are a little different. Those logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. But the CTAs are published as a static report shortly after the Globex opened each evening. I was running a little late last night. The markets opened at 6. It was 6:50 when I got this report published. I try to get it out by 6:30 whenever I can, but I had taken the day off and I was driving back home, and well, that gives you a good idea what time I got home. Now, here, all of these targets were given to our members and trial members at 6:50 p.m. last night. So we go to the charts. Remember, we're going to be looking at 30-minute charts. It was almost at the end of the second 30-minute candle. The targets came out, and you'll see the results. Now, first thing you do is make a note of where price is on your 30-minute chart. First, go to the markets you actually trade. Bring up the 30-minute chart. Make note where price is at the time the report comes out. It will always be between these two numbers, okay, no matter what market. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target. Draw a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to keep you on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. BBC stands for Bull Bear Cross. It's the green line you see on all my charts, whether it's a daily chart, a weekly chart, a monthly chart, 30-minute chart, 5-minute chart, tick chart, range chart. If price gets above the green line, you anticipate higher prices relative to the time frame you're looking at. If price gets below the green line, then you anticipate lower prices relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. It's simple. Now, with the logic alerts, you learned how to look left. With the CTAs, you're up in your game. You're getting closer to becoming an independent trader, which is what we want for you. Now you are able to look left yourself and spot the entry, the initial target, the additional targets, and the final trade to target. You also learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That's important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, price is above the 30-minute BBC. It's trying to get to the weekly trading zone above. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the weekly trading zone below. Published the zones since December 14th, 2009, closing in on 15 years. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. Once you learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone, those zones will become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. Just resist the urge to make it more complicated. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So let's jump to the daily chart. Okay. Now we have put in a new high. This morning in the live trading room, somebody asked, which direction should the ES go from here? And I offered up that it should go lower. That's because the step line had crossed blue and climbing. Now, we've got to make a little adjustment here. Today's high, 55.88. That's a new all-time historic high. 55.88. See if we can get it a little closer. 55.88. Oh, that's perfect. We're just 2 ticks above it. Okay. Now, see how the black step line has crossed blue and climbing? That's an indication that price will probably attempt to pull back to the BBC. That's the green line. Bearish below it, bullish above it. The pullback to the BBC. See, when you pull from above, pullback holds more often than not. When you pull up from below, pullback holds more often than not. Eventually, price will trade through the BBC. So here we're making short trades until this happens. Now we're looking for long trades. Pull back to the BBC, it holds, and we keep going. Okay. Now, this is what's important to understand about the daily chart. Institutional traders, because of their account size and the size they trade in, they're the ones who literally move price. They look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Again, it has to do with account size. They got your accounts. I mentioned this morning that even though I expected price to drop, I said blue and climbing, and of course the step line could become potential support. The fact that the step line has crossed from the left side of blue and climbing to the right side, that tells us that price is most likely, highest probability, going to attempt to work its way back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, and it's called the BBC, bull bear cross. Okay, so here's our fib retracements. Here's the shallowest fib retracement, the 24, which just so happens to be lined right up with the daily BBC. And remember, price always reverts to the mean. Okay, and then we have our fib extensions, and if price were to continue higher, this is where we would look for resistance up around 56, 70, 71. Now, all alerts are based on the 30-minute chart, whether it's the logic alert or the CTA, concierge trade alerts. 30-minute chart. This vertical line separates today, Thursday. Here's Wednesday. Back here's Tuesday. Go back a little bit further. We can see Monday. When price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. Support, support. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. Okay? 70% of the time when price encounters a zone, it's going to consolidate for a bit, sometimes for many hours. Here we just had an hour. Here we had an hour. Okay, and then we just consolidated along the BBC for 2 days. This was pre-holiday trade. This was holiday trade. But they kicked it in gear last night. Okay, this was the opening candle last night. So 10 minutes before this 30-minute candle closed is when I published the targets. So this candle right here opened at 64.5. and it ran up 2.5 points to the target. Go for the day. Now, this target is this high right there. Now we've traveled farther, okay, but we know that this is an all-time historic high, so there's no reason to look left because there's nothing there. Price has never been there before. Price always reverts to the mean. Now right here, we got a pullback. It held. This pullback held for a minute, and then it finally gave way. With red falling overhead, that's why I said I expect lower prices. And the zone below is 5630/31. The low of this candle is 33.5. So it came within 2.5 points. Buyers saw that as an opportunity, so they ran it up. But you've got potential resistance here, 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 and then of course here. So we hit the long target and we hit the short target. Okay. This candle here opened. Come on. We opened at 58.25. Is that right? Yeah, 58.25 and dropped to 43.25. So from 43 to 58, it's a 15-point candle at $50 a point. On the Dow, here's where we opened last night. 10 minutes before this candle closed, the targets were published. We got red and falling, turned to blue and climbing. That's bullish. Get a bullish cross right there. And so this candle opens at 39,254 and runs up to 39,280. About 40 points. Okay, it takes 20 points to get your goal for the day. So we get a leg, a retracement, and a leg. We run into the zone. Price pulls back. We overcome the zone, which is 300/305. And we got one more zone overhead for the week. We never did make it to the short. Now, here's the thing. This low here is this low here that was established last night right after the market opened, right here. See it? See that low? When price got down to this area, because of this, buyers stepped in and did this. Leg, retracement, leg. We're above the BBC, but look what's happening. The step line is attempting to cross blue and climbing. That happens, then we expect a retracement back to the BBC. The pullback holds, we're off in the nut. Russell. Here's where we opened last night. Consolidated at the zone. That's what happens 70% of the time. 20% of the times rejection. 10% of the times the slice. So we consolidate, and then off we go. Bang, right up to the target. Today's high. This is Thursday, Wednesday. We had a Tuesday high right here. Took it out by just a little bit. And we know that just a little bit is trouble. And look what happened. We're almost back down to the low of the session. Got a bearish cross up here. So everything pointing towards lower prices. Now, if price can get through this short target, which it couldn't the first attempt, okay, because that was these lows from Tuesday over here. If we get through that target, then expect support at the zone 32/33. In Q, here's where we opened last night on this candle. This candle, the targets came out, and we ran right up to the target, which was Tuesday's high. See how that works? It was also Monday's high. So you got like a triple top there. Okay, but then we overcame it and ran to the zone. Remember, when price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When price drops to a zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. Now, we traded through this zone all the way down to this zone. Over here, we had a bearish cross. Okay. Buyers came in at the zone. They're driving it up. Look for potential resistance at the step line, at red and falling. Price gets above that, then expect resistance at the BBC. Crude. Here's where we opened last night. Now, when red and falling gets directly below price, it acts as support because it's probably on its way to turning into blue and climbing, which is bullish. And bang, we run right up to the target to the tick. See that? And we pull back to the BBC, the pullback holds. That sends us up to the zone overhead where we consolidate for 1, 2.5 hours. And we drop to the BBC, the pullback holds. But now we've got resistance times 2. See how blue and climbing has turned to red and falling? That's potential resistance, plus the zone is potential resistance. So resistance times 2. I'd want to see price get, probably down to here, 80.45 before I attempted to trade to the short target. Now, it's possible that price will overcome red and falling, overcome the zone, and trade back up to the high of the session. This is the highest weekly trading zone for the week on crude. Michael should be here any second. Gold, this is where we opened last night. We dropped to the zone, which we expect to be support, and it was. So we got a leg that took us to and through the target. Leg, retracement, leg. We hit the zone, we consolidated for 1, 2.5 hours. Then we pulled back to the BBC, trade through it, and the long target becomes support. And we get a leg and a retracement. The pullback holds. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. And then like a rocket ship. Bang. And then we pulled back. Now you see how the step line is crossing from the left side of blue and climbing. It's crossing to the right side. Expect a retracement back to the BBC. Silver. Here's where we open, consolidated for a few hours. You only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. So here it was right there. Then we hit the zone resistance, pull back to support, got a little bit higher, pull back to the BBC, got a leg, got a retracement, got a leg, got a retracement, and now we're just off the high of the session. Now, this move in silver is worth over $5,000 per contract traded. True story. Euro. Here's where we opened last night. We consolidated at the zone for a few hours, and then we dropped to the short target. Consolidated there, and then dropped again. Now, why did price stop falling right here? We only have to look to Tuesday for the answer. See that? And we pull up to the BBC, another leg down, the pullback holds, and it holds, and it holds. And now where are we headed? To the zone. And what are we doing? Consolidating. That's what happens 70% of the time when price hits the zone. Michael, remember this morning when I said the step line was crossing blue and climbing?
I do.
And that blue and climbing had the potential to become support.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
There it is.
things just work. Okay, Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. Then we're going to trade live for 30 minutes on TradingView. Then I'll wrap things up with a good word for the day.
All right.
All right, looks good.
All right, here we go. Then I missed a beautiful trade right there. I missed another beautiful trade right there. And then we went into the lesson plan and I missed that one. And all the way over here, we had a couple of decent trades there that, again, I didn't miss. We get into the breakdown. There were no more blue arrows, one blue arrow right there. That probably would have stopped me out to the tick. But if you had just a couple of contracts on, it probably wouldn't have stopped you. You probably wouldn't have gotten the slippage that I would get. So it was a pretty good blue arrow day. Overall, the markets are trending pretty well today. They had some pretty good legs most of the time. So there should have been some pretty good trades in here for all the markets today. You can see they had nice long legs, so they had some pretty good follow through. For us, though, on the Russell today, we had just a couple of trades, break even there, and then a +2 on this one right here off the ribbon. We did not know the trade in there. The doesn't look like. It was all during the lesson plan here. Both of these would have been break-even trades. Those blue arrow trades for me, they both would have been break-even. And it was just these couple of blue arrows here during the break. That would have been some profit. And this would have been some profit. This probably would have been 30 ticks. This would have been probably a 0.4 ticks had I taken the trades. All right, that was the Russell. On the ES, we had just the one trade and it stopped us out right here. Minus 10 ticks on that one trade right there on the ES. Okay, and now we're at the NQ. On the NQ, let's just go all the way back. All the way back here. Not there. Here we go. All right. So on the NQ, our first trade here was a break even. The next trade here was a stop out. That's what ended up making us take a little while. And then when I finally got a decent trade on the NQ, I stopped out on the S at the same time. So it took us a little bit longer to get the gold for the day. But we stopped out on this one, minus 20. Had a break even there, then a minus 20, then another break even. Then we picked up this one right here. So we've got 30 ticks in profit. That's plus 10. Then I got 4 there to get us to 14. And then I got another 30 right there to get us to 40. That's where we got the gold for the day. There, I think. We did have a couple more trades to break even there, and then I picked up 16 ticks on this one to get us to 60, and we had a break even here. And this I used this whole area right here for the lesson plan. This moved down and then moved back up, and when it started to go sideways right through here, I was using for the lesson plan this morning. It all worked out. The markets worked out well and everything came together to illustrate exactly what I was trying to point out this morning. And it doesn't look like we had any more trades all through there. We did have one blue arrow here that I may or may not have taken. It would have been break even if I did. Blue arrow here again that I may or may not have taken because the outer bands are flat. And not that many trades starting to break here. One blue arrow there that would have been a break even. And nothing else. Right? That is what it was like this morning. There were some good opportunities. We did manage to get up to 60 ticks on the NQ. But it was well, it was a good morning. We were able to get a lot of training in this morning. I did get some negative feedback on the morning. That I had no appreciation for anybody's time, and the training apparently meant nothing. And I don't know. I want to say all feedback is positive, but it's don't get that. Anyway, apparently I wasted somebody's free time this morning. Sorry about that. Probably not in here right now. Probably didn't follow us to this session. Anyway, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. Okay, when you click on that, you got to be brought to this registration page. On the registration page, oh yeah, sorry, it's your name, your email, your phone number. Down there at the bottom, give us your machine ID if you have it. Give us a login ID if you have TradingView. Right? If you have both, give us both. And you go with both of them. Right? A lot of people do have both of those two platforms actually. A lot of people, they got started with NinjaTrader and they see the advantages of having TradingView, but you can't actually trade on TradingView. But you can't trade directly on your brokerage account at TradingView. They're not a broker. So you have to go through them to get to somebody else. So you can just trade directly on NinjaTrader, but chart from TradingView. You have a lot of people that do that. Or, I chart from TradingView and I trade on DT Pro, the stuff that I do, and you'll be seeing me doing here in the next little bit. That's what I do. This stuff right here is DT Pro. That's what I chart on. Okay. All right. That's it. So let's get into the trades. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the trial there. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I trade on. No, thank you. No, I thought it was an echo. I thought it was an echo. No. Okay. Well, I said it wrong. I trade on DT Pro. I chart on TradingView. Okay. And so now let's get into the trades. It looks like we had a nice green arrow back here that's pulling back. We need to get up into the overbought, get into the ribbon, one or the other to get your trade on the NQ. The other markets, the Russell and the ES, are both going down with the NQ right now. Now you see this black arrow? It's way too close to the swing low to take a trade off of that. Right? You want to have something pull back so you have some space in between the entry and the swing low. Like this is pretty good, but it's not actually hitting the ribbon, I don't think. So the next one should actually hit the ribbon probably, and then we'll take that one. I think that's actually going to hit the ribbon right there. Yeah, well, it didn't actually hit the ribbon because you got a black arrow, but I took it anyway. Here it is. Throwing my stop and break even on it, and I'm out of break even. Now, I should have been locking in a little bit of profit, but I did the sequence in the wrong order. Now we're back up and we're hitting the ribbon, and the green arrow will happen now, right there. The green arrow. Now, that last one didn't put in a lower swing, so I can't do anything with it. But you guys can. Now the green arrow is going to be right here. Oh, actually, it did come out of the overbought. It did not come out of the overbought. That was weird. Yeah, let me just click this and back to this. It did. All right, so there's your green arrow right there. I was going to say that was weird. It painted it and then it went away, and that never happens. That's not how it works. So I did get a green arrow here. Now I couldn't do that because we didn't get a lower swing from the one trade that I did take right here. And this didn't put in a lower swing either, so we're not looking on the short side anymore. Look at the YM, which is going in the opposite direction right now. Over here is coming off a higher swing. It's not really off the ribbon right there. It's arguable if it's off the ribbon. If it hit the ribbon, that would be a ribbon trade right there. Okay, but I don't think it did because it should have a purple arrow. It did. We got the lower swing here, lower swing here, and lower swing here, all across the board right now. All right, so we now have, we have nothing over here yet. We have the green arrow over here on the YM. Now that last green arrow did put in a lower swing, so this is a valid green arrow right here. And I did just take it. And here it is, and my stop's going to break even on that. Oops, and I'm on a break even on that. I should add my stop and break even sooner. See, we get the NQ15 range short. That's this blue arrow right here. All right, that's what that was telling us right in there. Now that should put in a lower swing, get down below the bottom right here is what it should do. It started up here, and I was doing this at the time, so I wasn't able to get into it and lock in any profit or anything like that on it. I can't take it now because it has to put in the lower swing before I can. Okay, it has to put in the lower swing. There it is. So now I can take the next level, or the next leg if it happens. I can take the next leg. Now, this is almost in the status of what I went over this morning. For those of you guys that were in the room this morning, the whole porpoising thing, where the leg lengths down or extending, makes the leg lengths back up, be proportional to the leg lengths down. There's nothing here because we hit the black line and we didn't come out of the overbought, so there's nothing here. Okay. What I mean by that is we had a decent leg length on the way down, decent leg length, and then it exceeded it right there. And so the pullback right here, this actually gave you the blue arrow, which was okay. But you would expect, you would anticipate a pullback proportional to the leg down. And if you got that, it would bring you up above the ribbon and not give you an actual trade. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. And I had to have left an order on there on the YM because I am short right now. And I'm just going to lock in profit on that. I left the stop order on this. When I got out of this, I had a stop order right here to put me short. That does not count. Let's go in here right now into the question box. See if anybody's got any questions. I don't see any questions there. I can bring up the live stream. I don't have that running right now. We'll see what's going on with that. Slash. That does not look like it's running right now. Is live stream not running, Dwayne? Oh, here it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, so now I can see it. All right, so what we're looking for now is to pull back up to the ribbon over here, here, and here. This blue arrow here, the outer bands are really flat, so we'll let it run this leg right here and then pull back and give us a second trade. All right, while the outer bands spread out a little bit. I know that worked out to be a great trade, but still, I wouldn't have taken that if I didn't see it. I'm watching the ES right here for potential short, and the YM is going through the ribbon. It'll probably give a really deep green arrow over there. Same thing happening with Russell. It's a really deep pullback. That won't be a green arrow, and the Russell will be a black arrow. And the YM's not doing anything. It pulled back too deep. Okay, and we didn't even get the black arrow here on the Russell because we didn't come out of the bottom. So the only thing that might give us a trade right now is going to be ES green arrow on the short side and a black arrow in Q on the long side. That's all that looks like is happening right now. Now what I have done today, or in the last couple of days, is looked at Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin on the daily. We have the inverted head and shoulder pattern developing really nicely here. This is, well, this up here is your neckline. Okay, here's the shoulder, here's the other shoulder. So what we should see now that the other shoulder is developing, this is like this part of the shoulder. We should see some movement up now with the Bitcoin. It should be happening pretty soon. I would say within a week, we should see Bitcoin getting up to the neckline here within a week and a half. So by the end of the month, we'll say that's probably a good time too. By the end of that'd be the end of the half, the end of the quarter, the end of the half, the end of the month. Next week, next Friday, I think, right? Yes. So, yeah, that's what's going on next week. Okay. I have a lot going on next week. That's fine. I'm gonna bump back here to this for right now. We are running right through everything. The Russell is the only thing that's got potential to give us a trade right here. Okay. And the only thing that would make me want to take that trade on the Russell is the fact that the Russell does often run counter to everything else. The man in the street is what we used to call it. Man in the street. Doing his own thing. All right. So it is 1:12. We have 18 minutes left in here. I don't think she's in here. Sure, she got that meeting. Notice. The darn thing works. Did not work in that meeting with Christian that I had over the break. Could not get the GoToMeeting stuff to work properly. All right, 41.3 down 40.5 is still what we're looking at here on the NQ. Now it's gone up a little bit more. So you're looking at 40.6 on the downside. 40.6 on the downside. I have to check something. See what version this is. About 14.308.283. Let's see a picture of it instead. All right. Yeah. I was going to try to go along there a second ago, but I couldn't because I got this window open here. It's preventing me from taking the trade. I was going to try to go long here on this green arrow. If I could have gone long on the green arrow, I would have gotten a break even on it. but I wasn't able to do that. And it looked like I do still have an order waiting here. I had an order waiting on the Russell. Yeah, okay. Well, here now I'm going to fill on the Russell. I hope. There, I just filled on the Russell. Okay, so the Russell short I'm in. I didn't do this over here on the long side, and I did have an order waiting on that ahead of time, but it didn't fill. The order was down here at 40.4. If we get 4 ticks in profit on this, I'm going to bump my stop to break even on this, okay? That's what we're looking for. There it is, stop to break even. So now I don't have any risk on the trade, and right there is where it should go down to 39.6, right? Now, where is that? It should actually go down through 38.7, but the DOM is suggesting 39.6. I'm just going to lock in that. I put this down at 38.7, which is the swing low. That's what it should do here. So we're out with 1 tick. What it should do is exceed the prior swing low, right? That's what it should do. This one over here, I didn't get into. I would have gotten a break even if I could have gotten into it. But that needs to put in a new swing high, and it hasn't quite done that yet either. Okay. All right. So let's. I don't know why I did that. Let's close that. Come over here. Connect on that. No. I'm just looking at something. I want to show you guys this really quick. Since we're all just sitting here waiting for stuff to happen. This is the ES TV trades on the 4 range. Bang, 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 bang. One after the other on the ES 4 range. Trade after trade after trade today. If you're not doing it, just give it a try. Go back out here for a minute. Right. It's at targetviewtrades.com. Go check that out. While we wait, in there with the target view trades, you're not going to learn how to trade. You just learn when to trade. In here to learn how to trade. It'll help you with knowing when to trade and knowing how to trade and what to expect out of a trade. It'll help you with a lot of that stuff. So putting all the pieces together. You can go there and make money trading while you learn how to trade. We have the potential for another trade here on the NQ right now. It's got a low right here, 46.75, so we'd be buying 50.75. This is what it looks like. Okay. If it goes down below 46.75 like that, then we'll have to move order. Now, there's no guarantee it's going to be a trade. It could be a green arrow. I'm just going to cancel it for right now. If we do get an up close, then I'll jump on the trade. But if we don't, then it's not going to be a valid trade. It's going to be 45 up to 49 is what you'd be looking at, somewhere in there. Okay, so now it is a green arrow, so I'll try to take it right there, and now it's too late. Missed it. We did get a mid-trend trade by on the ES range. I believe that just triggered somewhere. All right, so over here on the YM, we've hit the black line on the pullback here, you see? Because we hit the black line on the pullback, this is not going to be It would only be a green arrow. If you had anything, it'd be a green arrow, but I don't think it's going to be any trade at all. Okay. And 120, and I feel like just go. All right. All right, on the NQ, we want to pull back up and test the ribbon right here, but we haven't quite done it yet. All right, and there it is. We're getting our pullback, and now we're not in the overbought. We didn't actually hit the ribbon, so we don't have anything there yet. Okay, put that back and forth. So we didn't hit the ribbon. Now we're in the overbought. So we'll get a black arrow from here on a down close. Now that is way too close to the swing low for me to want to take a black arrow trade right here. Okay, it's way too close to the swing low for me to want to take that. So I'm going to wait for it to pull back. It's a better looking trade than that. All right. Now I wonder here. If I need this to pull back up and test the ribbon here, guys. Pull back up and test the ribbon. There you go. It's got a high of 2037, so be selling 2034 on a down close. 2033, sorry, on a down close. Okay. And there it is. Sorry, I'm sure I totally look somewhere else. I'm short right now. I had the order waiting. Here we go. I'm locking in some profit on that. I got totally distracted. My head was turned completely to another monitor. All right. So right now, down close here on the YM is what we're going to be looking for. Down close there on the Russell. Okay, so there's a down close on the Russell. That's not an actual trade though. The Russell's not an actual trade. We have the purple arrow here on the ES from inside the no trade zone. The outer bands are spread a little bit, but the midpoint, I mean the ribbon is not spread. All right, over here on the YM, we need the down close here to give us a green arrow. Now we've hit the black line and we're in the overbought. A down close that pulls us out of the overbought right now is going to give us a green arrow short. All right, the Russell, this is not a valid trade. It hit the black line. It wasn't coming out of the overbought. Okay. The NQ, I took some profit on that. I don't know what I got, but I took some profit on that. And now we need to pull all the way back up and either hit the ribbon or get into the overbought. Right? That's what we need. Excuse me. Okay. We have the green arrow over there on the YM that I was looking for. We did get the drop out of the overbought there on the YM, so that's the green arrow over there. Okay. Here it is. Stop is going to go to break even after 4 takes in profit. Let's say it's 441 right there. There it is. Stop to break even. Now what should happen is it should get down below 426. Right, 426 is right there. It should get below that to continue the trend. Right, so if I just leave it alone and let it do its thing, we should see it get all the way down there below that. I don't have any risk on the trade anymore. Okay. And we ended up with a break even. I was going to take a little profit in that. This purple hour here is working out just fine. It's not giving us any kind of a trade setup yet. We got to get out of this we got to get out of this new trade zone to get any kind of a trade setup in there. You could take the purple hour if you wanted to. That's not one that I would want to take, but you could take that if you wanted to. What the purple hour tells you again is that the outer bands are in agreement with the bounce off the ribbon. Okay, that's what the purple hour was telling you. It means your long-term trend and your short-term trend agree with the bounce off the ribbon here. That's what that means. The outer bands in your short and long-term trend are both in the same direction that the market should go when it bounces off the ribbon. A lot of words. Partners meeting tonight, guys. Partners meeting tonight at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. tonight. We have the partners meeting. And today is Thursday, right? Okay, I'm just gonna roll with that. Okay, here on the NQ, we pull back up and tested the ribbon. It's 16 down to 12 is what you're looking at there. Now it's gonna be 16.75 down to 12.75, and now it's gonna be probably not a trade at all. I'm gonna cancel my order on that. And we'll wait. We'll wait and see. Wait and see. No, there it is right there. I did actually leave it on. So I'm gonna throw my stop and break even on this. There, okay, I'm on a break even. Sorry. I jumped on right over and show it to you. I got distracted by something else that I was just showing you a minute ago. In here, the ES is that it gave this long trade here that did not work out at all. Now the mid-trend trades, the deal with the mid-trend trades is your stop has to be like 1 or 2 ticks beyond the bar that got you into the trade. The mid-trend trade should be right on the pivot. All right. If they start to go sideways, they're probably not going to work out. It should be right on the pivot. And so this one here would have stopped you out minus 5 or 6 ticks. And this one right here, get it all back, 37.75, and it dropped all the way down here to 31.75. 6 points right there, $300 a contract. I have to stop it out here for 62.50. I pointed this out here when it was doing that. So I point out everything it's doing right here. All right. And we'll go back here into this world, and we're looking for. We needed to get a lower swing from this green arrow back here on the YM. We didn't get that lower swing, so we don't have another trade there yet. Over here on the ES, we don't have anything there yet. On the Russell, we want that to pull back up and bounce off of that. On the ES, we want that to pull back up and bounce off of that. On the NQ, we want that to pull back up. Actually, we want that to put in a lower swing right now. It's got to put in a lower swing. Wow, it's 120. Crap, and I got another meeting coming up too, so I gotta end this pretty quick at 1:30. All right, so if you have not taken a free trial with us, let me go out here and look at YouTube for a second, see if anybody's got any questions for me out there. Roger, you can hear me now. Good. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, right? Well, the morning session, guys, for anybody that's watching on YouTube, anybody that's not in here, in the morning session, we do the trading, we get the goal for the day. The goal every day when we get in there, we trade until 10:15 in the morning, okay? And the idea is to get this column right here to show $100 per contract. All right, that's the goal for the day. And then I keep trading, but then I get into the training part of it. I get into the lesson plan. And because we had a day off yesterday, we had to shift the lesson plan a little bit. And today's lesson plan was this stuff: the leg lengths, the ultimate slingshot, the vertical separation between the slingshot on DT Pro and Industry Trader, and the arrows and the alerts. So for those of you guys that are in here for the first time, I went into a lot of detail today. Well, yeah, for a amount of detail about how the arrows are created in the alerts and how to anticipate them. You know, looking for the pullbacks and what actually triggers them. It's the slingshot, the ultimate slingshot, that actually triggers both of those things, because the arrows come from pulling out of the overbought or oversold, the ultimate slingshot. The other criteria that you need are in there. Now, during the lesson plan, there are two things. Well, there's actually more than two, but all of day one is just basic chart stuff. So all of day one is information that you can use going forward. And in day three, the leg lengths, whether you stick with us or not, the leg lengths is good information that you can use going forward. And in day four, learning how to read the DOM, that is good information that you can use going forward. So whether you end up staying with us or not, if you take the trial, you're going to learn something more than likely. You're going to learn something that you may or may not already know, but you'll be able to carry forward with you, whether you stick with us or not, right? So that's going to wrap it up for me. For today, it's 1:31. We did have a couple of good trades in there. I don't think we stopped out at all. I think we had a couple of good trades and no stop outs. Not sure. I have to go back and look. But anyway, today is the 20th day of June 2024. We're plus 60 on the NQ, plus 2 on the Russell, plus 2 on the YM, and minus 10 on the ES. That puts us at plus 195 in the morning session. Today it took 22 minutes and 10 trades to get to the goal for the day. We're at $2,070 at that point with 18 contracts. And we took a total of 13 trades this morning. So on a month now, we're at $3,997. That is with one contract, averaging $307 for the morning session only. On the year, we're at $44,487. That's over 114 business days, averaging $390, again, for the morning session only. Now, if you were to follow the 24/20 blueprint and quit trading when you get the goal for the day and add one contract per month like I have been, so far this year, you'd be at 6 contracts right now and averaging $1,269 per hour. If you started like I did at the beginning of last year, you'd be at 18 contracts right now and averaging $5,996 per hour. Okay. That's if you did everything just like me in the morning session. Now, again, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for the trial. Click on that. And be all set. All right. I believe I am about to lose my voice, so I am just going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A of Willow, South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yes, I am.
Okay, there. I cleared my throat. It's a little better.
Yeah, I got some kind of throat thing too. Keep having to clear my throat. Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 22 minutes and 10 trades to get to $2,070.
Great job.
Yep.
All right, guys, we made it through all the alerts. Now, here's where we are. Remember this morning in the live training room, I mentioned to you guys that with step line crossing below and climbing, we anticipate lower prices. I also said we had potential support there, which we did for a while. We've now overcome that. So the next obstacle to now, because the step line is crossed, we expect price to retrace to the daily BBC. But it has to overcome the 62% fib extension, 50% fib extension, and as I mentioned earlier, the daily BBC is perfectly aligned with the 24% fib retracement. That's from the April 19th low to today's new all-time historic high. So I would think possibly tomorrow, I'm not sure what news is coming out, but between now and close of business tomorrow, if we don't see price all the way back to the BBC, then maybe we see it Sunday night. ES hit the long target, hit the short target, and now the market's finding support at the zone. Now remember, these are the zones that were published Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once the zones are published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. One more zone above up on the Dow. Gold, still have one more zone overhead. Right now we're just consolidating at the zone. See, when price drops to a zone, support. Rallies up to a zone, resistance. Resistance sends a market looking for support. Support sends a market looking for resistance. Back to support. And here we are. Step line has crossed. So on gold, look for a retracement on your 30-minute chart back to the BBC. Now, in the Logic 247 channel, where there's over 16,900 individual handcrafted alerts, every one of those is a trend trade as defined by the 30-minute chart, price, and the BBC. Crude, we're consolidating at the highest weekly trading zone. Came just a couple ticks shy of hitting the short target. We hit the long target, and then we got to the zone resistance, pull back to the BBC support, pushed us back to the zone 8120/25, and so we need to overcome that resistance. This is the highest weekly zone crude. The NQ, here's where we opened last night. Hit the long target, resistance at the zone, we roll over, and bang, right to the short target. Little bounce up to red and falling, and we continue to drop. Now, I pointed this out earlier, right here on the NQ. Right here. You got a bullish cross. That's when the blue line crosses above the green line. See, it never really crossed below, did it? No. Yeah, well, it kind of did. Yeah, whatever. We're right at that area for potential support. See that? Follow the horizontal line on the cursor. Whenever you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support, at least the first time. It may back up and make another run at it and get all the way down to the next zone. This is Thursday, this is Wednesday, yesterday the holiday, this is Tuesday, and this is Monday. Again, these zones were published for all our members and trial members Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Russell consolidated at the zone, ran up at the long target, resistance, which set us looking for support, and that support came in at the short target. Then we ran back to the long target, then we ran back to the short target, and now we're trying to get to this zone at 2032/33, and the low so far on this candle is 33.5. So we've come within 2 ticks of touching the zone. The ES, okay, this is the new all-time, this was the open last night right here. We hit the long target, put in a new all-time historic high, and price got below the BBC, ran down, hit the short target. Now we've gotten to this zone. Question is will we consolidate at the zone? Well, the zone's 5330/31, so we're consolidating at the zone right now. But if we push a little bit further, then the bullish cross, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Monday we had a bullish cross that led to all this. Okay, price can get back to this area. That should be good support, at least the first time down. But before that can happen, it's got to get through this zone, which in and of itself should be good support. Number one, because it's a zone. Well, this price action happened because of the zone. So, if I were going to trade the ES now, I would look to short. 55.22 to about 55.17. 5 points. I need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Silver. We had a $5,000 per contract move today. We hit the long target, resistance, pull back, support at blue and climbing, pushed higher, and a retracement back to the VVC, and then we put in a higher high, and now we got a little double top going on up here. But from here to here, it's $5,000 per contract traded. When the price of crude moves $1, that's worth $1,000 per contract. Gold moves $1, that's worth $100 per contract. And silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. Euro consolidating at the zone. Has been now for 1-2 hours. Okay. Is that the lowest weekly zone, you might ask? No, far from it, which is good. That means we got plenty of room to work, no matter which way the market goes. Now this number is important, 5517/18, that could be support. That's a 62% fib extension on the ES. And you got 5469/5470. That's the 50% fib extension. And then the really important 24% fib retracement, which is lined up with the daily VVC at the moment. To become a member, all you got to do is go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or email support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. Now they try, they buy books, they sign up for rooms, they buy video sets. But what's lacking is a living, breathing human being teaching you how to read the chart and what action to take. And we trade every market exactly the same. So you don't have to learn 1,000 different things. You only have to learn a few things just to get your goal for the day. And that's what it's all based on. And as you learn to get your goal for the day on a consistent basis, then you go live, then you increase your account balance by $2,000, then you add a second contract. So you're starting out at $100 a day, but when you add the second contract, it becomes $200 a day. When you add the third contract, it becomes $300 a day. By the time you get to the 10th contract, 2 points in the ES, just the same 2 points that used to make you $100 a day, now make you $1,000 a day. A lot of people get comfortable at the number 5. That's $500 a day. Pretty good living. Most countries. So, no teacher, teacher. Now, becoming a passport holder does not mean you will automatically become the 1 out of 10. But it means you do have a fighting chance. Because you not only have a living, breathing teacher 2 hours every trading day, but you're surrounded by a community of traders who will support you in every effort. There's no competition in our discussion channel because we're all on the same page. We want to help one another do better. There's no egos. None of that deep, dark stuff you find in so many trading chat rooms and whatnot. It's just we have a healthy, family-friendly, positive environment. So you'll have a teacher, you'll be surrounded by people that you can communicate with who will do everything they can to help you. Many of them are still in the learning process. Many of them have arrived. Okay. So live training every day, but also private one-on-one mentoring at no extra charge. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets, all time frames. Future, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. Never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you'll also get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, the weekly trading zones, be able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you'll get the golden key that unlocks all the private channels in Telegram, including the members only workshop channel, which means you can go in and there's years of members only workshop videos that you can watch if you so choose. But you'll be able to attend live. And anytime you can attend live, we record it and it's in the channel usually within an hour after the workshop ends. It's everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price, with around-the-clock support. Okay, time now for our good word for the day. How God leads us. Psalm 119, verse 105 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." The words, "Your word is a lamp to my feet," means you're supposed to walk according to God's will, not your own thoughts, wishes, or impulses. The words "and a light to my path" mean you can't go in any direction you choose. You must follow the path that God has planned for you. You will never go wrong consulting the scriptures for direction, but make sure you keep the scriptures in context. Don't use the open window method. Don't use the method where you just, close your eyes, just open the Bible and stick your finger on a verse. That's not how it works. Again, don't use the open window method. Allowing the wind to blow across the pages of your Bible, then shutting your eyes, pointing to a verse and saying, "This is what God's telling me." If you do that, you could end up with the verse, "Judas went away and hanged himself," as your verse for the day. Bummer. Would you want to go to a doctor with an illness and hear him say, without ever examining you, "It's your gallbladder"? How do you know, you ask? Well, I sat by the window a few moments ago and trusted God to blow the pages of my anatomy book to your problem, and the topic on the page was gallbladder. You'd run out of there pretty fast, wouldn't you? Some people practice this kind of theological superstition, then get into trouble and say, "Well, God led me," when God had nothing to do with whatever you choose. Whenever you read the scriptural phrase, "This is the will of God," you can be sure that it's His will. If you disobey Him, you will suffer, and if you obey Him, you will be blessed. And that's a good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy, with His grace, and I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.